What happens when a 2-meter tall billionaire walks into my courtroom and makes a threat so shocking that it silences everyone? This man thought his money could buy immunity from justice. He thought wrong, and what I did next completely destroyed the empire he spent decades building. I'm Francesco Frank Caprio, and in 40 years on the bench I've seen every type of arrogance money can produce. But nothing prepared me for Marcus Vandenberg. This story shows what happens when unlimited wealth meets unwavering justice. Marcus Vandenberg, age 45, cited for illegal construction without permits on his waterfront mansion, a $12 million addition built without permits, violating coastal protection laws that preserve our community's natural resources. Then Vandenberg walks through my courtroom doors and everything changes. 6 feet 8 inches of intimidation, wearing a $3,000 suit that can't hide intricate tattoos covering both arms. Gold jewelry catches the light, chains thick enough to anchor a yacht, rings on every finger. His presence fills the space like smoke, but it's his attitude that gets my attention. Vandenberg surveys my courtroom like he's inspecting property he's considering purchasing. When his gaze lands on me, I see amusement, like he's walked into a children's playroom and found the toys entertaining. Vandenberg approaches my bench with the swagger of someone who's never been told no. He doesn't stand respectfully. He leans against the table like he's at a cocktail party, checking his Rolex that could feed a family for 6 months. The facts are staggering. Vandenberg owns a 47-acre estate on Rhode Island's most exclusive coastline. Without permits, environmental studies, or informing anyone, he began construction violating every coastal protection law, moving protected sand dunes, destroying endangered bird nesting areas, altering water flow patterns existing for thousands of years. When the city discovered his illegal construction, Vandenberg hired private security to keep inspectors away and lawyers to file injunctions. For 8 months he's been building while fighting oversight. The environmental damage is catastrophic and growing. I begin reading charges, expecting contrition. Instead, Vandenberg interrupts me. Actually interrupts me while I'm speaking from the bench. "Your Honor," he says, condescension dripping from his voice, "I think we can expedite this matter. I'm prepared to pay whatever fine you have in mind. My time is worth considerably more than these proceedings, and I have actual important business waiting." The word actual hits like a slap. He's told me my courtroom isn't important, that 40 years of service ranks below his business meetings. The gallery gasps, but Vandenberg isn't finished revealing his arrogance. He withdraws a checkbook, leather-bound and monogrammed, clicking open a gold pen expectantly. "What's the damage, Your Honor? Just tell me the number, and we can all move on." His tone suggests he's bought his way out of consequences many times before. Everything has a price, including justice. I set down my papers carefully, recognizing danger. "Mr. Vandenberg, this is not a transaction. This is a court of law. You're here to answer for violations causing irreversible environmental damage to protected areas." Vandenberg's response chills everyone. He laughs, a full-throated laugh suggesting genuine amusement. "Your Honor, with all due respect, everything has a price. Everything, including this court, this proceeding, and frankly, your decision. The only question is whether we handle this efficiently or waste time pretending otherwise." Absolute silence follows. Vandenberg has suggested my 40 years of service, my oath to uphold justice, can be purchased like a commodity. He looks directly at me and says the words that will destroy his life. "Your Honor, I own 17 properties in this city, employing over 800 people. I generate more tax revenue than most neighborhoods. So let's be realistic about power dynamics. You need my contribution far more than I need your approval." The courtroom erupts in whispers, but Vandenberg continues. "Judge Caprio, I've been told you have a reputation for compassion. That's admirable for ordinary people, but this situation requires a sophisticated perspective, one businessman to another. Surely we can find a mutually beneficial resolution." I stand from my bench, something I do only in serious circumstances. "Mr. Vandenberg, did you just attempt to bribe this court?" His response will be remembered forever. Vandenberg shrugs as if the question is beneath consideration. "Your Honor, I prefer recognizing economic realities. This city benefits enormously from my presence. Surely that's worth more than some sand dunes and bird nests. I walk around my bench, eliminating distance between us. Mr. Vandenberg, in 40 years, I've never encountered someone who so fundamentally misunderstands justice, law, and basic respect owed to institutions protecting our community. Vandenberg's arrogance peaks. Your Honor, I understand these concepts better than most. I've built a $400 million empire by understanding how systems really work. Money talks, Your Honor. Everything else is noise. Right now, my money is speaking clearly. What happens next shocks everyone. I signal my bailiff. Mr. Vandenberg, you've attempted to bribe this court, shown contempt for environmental laws, demonstrated complete disregard for due process, and suggested your wealth places you above the legal system. I pause before delivering the devastating blow. Therefore, I'm immediately issuing a cease and desist order for all construction. Furthermore, you're ordered to restore damaged areas within 90 days using certified specialists, but I'm not finished. For attempted bribery, I'm citing you for contempt and referring this to the Attorney General's office. Attempted bribery of a sitting judge carries mandatory minimum 2 years in prison. His face goes pale. Your Honor, there's been a misunderstanding. I never attempted bribery. I was discussing economic realities. I returned to my bench, opening the case file. Mr. Vandenberg, for 3 months, the FBI has been investigating your construction practices, treatment of inspectors, and attempts to circumvent oversight through intimidation. Color drains from Vandenberg's face as he realizes he's walked into something much larger. Agent Patricia Walsh of the FBI Environmental Crime Unit has been documenting your behavior. Agent Walsh, please identify yourself. A woman in the third row stands, displaying credentials. Vandenberg spins around, mouth opening in shock. Agent Walsh approaches. Your Honor, based on Mr. Vandenberg's statements today, combined with our investigation into systematic environmental law violations, the Bureau is filing federal charges for conspiracy to violate the Clean Water Act, destruction of protected wetlands, and attempted bribery. Vandenberg's legs buckle. The man who entered like he owned the place now needs support. Your Honor, our investigation uncovered evidence that Mr. Vandenberg's company has systematically violated environmental laws across 3 states for 8 years. Over 40 incidents of unpermitted construction, inspector intimidation, and official bribery attempts. Total environmental damage exceeds $27 million. Agent Walsh continues exposing his criminal enterprise. We have evidence of undocumented workers paid below minimum wage, threatened with deportation for complaining about unsafe conditions, 3 workers hospitalized with preventable injuries. The FBI adds the final devastating detail. Tax fraud evidence shows Vandenberg claiming illegal projects as business losses while using them to increase property values for loans. The IRS estimates $4 million in unpaid taxes. Vandenberg's attorney speaks up. Your Honor, my client invokes Fifth Amendment rights and requests adjournment. We deny wrongdoing and will address these matters in appropriate forums. I nod at the attorney's professionalism, contrasting his client's behavior. The environmental cease and desist remains effective immediately. All construction stops today. Any violation results in additional criminal charges, but I'm not finished delivering justice. Mr. Vandenberg, this court imposes maximum fines allowable. For each violation, $50,000. For each day construction continued, additional $10,000. Your total fine is $875,000, payable within 30 days. The gallery gasps. Agent Walsh adds federal perspective. Federal environmental crime charges carry up to 25 years prison and $50 million in fines. All assets connected to your criminal enterprise face federal forfeiture, including 17 properties, 12 vehicles, and 6 bank accounts. Vandenberg finally understands. The empire built through intimidation and environmental destruction is being systematically dismantled by the legal system he thought he could purchase. Your Honor, I have a family, employees who depend on me. This will destroy innocent people. I feel sadness, not for Vandenberg, but for family and employees dragged into his criminality. Mr. Vandenberg, you should have considered consequences before building your empire on environmental destruction. Your employees and family are victims of your choices. like the ecosystems you've destroyed. Proceedings conclude with Vandenberg taken into federal custody. As handcuffs click around his wrists, the man who entered believing money could buy anything leaves understanding that justice, environmental protection, and rule of law are not for sale. The aftermath sent shockwaves through Rhode Island's business community. Within hours, news of his courtroom collapse spread across social media, videos viewed millions of times. His construction empire crumbled within 6 months. Federal prosecutors seized assets worth $90 million. Vandenberg received 12 years in federal prison plus full restitution. The protected coastal areas were restored using his seized assets, becoming a model for environmental justice nationwide. Endangered piping plovers returned to nest in restored dunes, a living symbol that some victories transcend money and power. For me, Vandenberg's case reinforced everything I've believed throughout my career. No amount of wealth, arrogance, or entitlement can overcome the truth that we're all equal under law. The courtroom remains where character matters more than cash, where integrity trumps intimidation, where justice prevails over unlimited wealth's arrogance. Marcus Vandenberg learned that lesson the hardest way possible, serving as a reminder that money can't buy immunity from accountability. In my courtroom and courtrooms across America, justice remains blind to bank accounts and deaf to threats.